It is everyone's desire for them to become financially stable and rich. But no one can become rich if you are in debt. So if you are looking for answers on how you can become debt-free, allow me to share with you to read this book called Till Death Do Us Part. It teaches you on how to save, budget, how to get out of debt. To know more information about this book, please go to this website or go to the nearest bookstores.
I'm Edwin Pascual. I work as a factory manager sa Valenzuela. 45 ako ngayon. So what would I do with my salary right now para makapag-invest and then by age 50 makapag-retire ako?
Very, very important, you got to understand three words called the objective, horizons, and preference. When you talk about objectives, what are your financial goals? When you talk about financial goals, your goal is preservation of funds, growing of funds, or to make it as a continuous source of cash flow. Second is what we call as horizons, your timeline. When do you need it? Is it short-term, medium-term, or long-term? When you talk about short-term, it may be payment of debt, or probably it's just educational fund of your kids. Medium-term, it can be probably to buy a car, to buy a house. Long-term, it can be your retirement fund, it can be your income replacement fund, or probably inheritance fund. So whatever your goal, you just need to understand your your horizon. And third, you got to also understand your preference. When you talk about preference, all of us, we have our personal preference when it comes to food. Some like Filipino, some like Japanese, some like Chinese. But when it comes to investment preference, some are aggressive, some are medium aggressive, some are conservative. When you talk about aggressive, they're really risk takers. They can go on high investment and then high yield. But always remember, in terms of high returns and high yields, the higher the interest, the higher the risk. Second type is what we call as moderate. Probably can do 50-50, conservative 50% and aggressive, high returns 50, low returns at 50. And the third one is what we call as the conservative. What you can do is probably 80% should be invested in low returns and 20% on high returns. So basically, you got to understand first your objective, your horizons, and your preference before you start investing. Like for your case, you're 45, you're going to probably retired 5 years. Well, in 5 years' time, it's so hard for you to say that you'll be able to retire at 5 years because in investment, you need time. Kailangan mo ng oras. If you don't have time working for you, it's going to be hard for you to have what we call as a return of investment, or what we call as the compounding interest, because you will earn money on investment based on compounding interest.
You're still with us on MoneyWise. Earlier, Mylo revealed to us her money fears when it comes to using her credit cards.
Okay, so this is the situation.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong in using a credit card because credit card is, we live in a cashless society right now. We're using it for convenience. Yeah. So it's very important and that all who's watching right now, and especially Mylo, you have to be aware that once you use a credit card, it will be wise for you to pay everything in full. Because if you don't pay everything in full, credit card company charges more or less 3.5% per month. That's 12 months. That's around 42% interest per annum. That's 42%. On top of that, if you fail to pay the minimum they require, there will be an additional 4.5% finance charge on top of the 3.5%. Plus, they would give you a surcharge of at least 500 to 600 pesos or 700 pesos if you fail to pay on time.
Ano yun? Okay, so may interest charge na, may finance charges pa, at meron pang surcharge.
Yes,
Oh,
yung parang processing fee or handling fee. So, these are the small details that we are not aware because people are just willing to pay the minimum. Yeah, so, if you pay the minimum, it would take you a lot of years.
In short, napupunta lang sa interest yung binabayaran
exactly.
mo minimum.
As a matter of fact, credit card companies doesn't want to encourage people to incur bad debts because they want people to pay. So because so that if they cannot collect from the people who borrowed, they would also lose money in the end.
I see. Now, but going back to Mylo, the fears of Mylo are rooted because of her past experience when she was either a victim of credit card fraud or stolen card. That's why now she's reluctant to use her credit card on a regular basis or to have other credit cards aside from her present credit card. So her fear is not necessarily baseless. In fact, it's valid. So when it comes to credit card fraud, what we advise is this.
Owning a credit card is a responsibility.
Yeah, true.
Responsibility to take care of it, to protect it, responsibility to pay everything in full.
So responsibility and obligation
Yes.
to pay. And Mylo, may I just add, because you were kind of afraid not to use your credit card because you were a victim before of a lost card, make sure that when you use your credit card next time, don't let it out of your sight. When you purchase something, you sign the card in front of you and don't ever let it go out of your sight. Dapat yung terminal nasa harap mo to make sure na hindi mawawala at hindi mapupunta sa iba yung credit card mo at hindi maging victim ng scheming.
Yes. Now, Mylo, would you be more comfortable in using your credit card?
Yes, yes. More comfortable, and now I'm more confident after hearing what you said. So I learned my lesson before. So now I'm okay. I can say that I'm comfortable.
So, we're happy for you,
yes, we're
Mylo,
happy again.
na nakatulong kami na mabawasan yung fears mo na gamitin ang yung credit card the right or proper way.
Owning a credit card nowadays, it's a must because of the fast-paced world and people wants it convenient.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chinkee. I also have credit cards, but as much as possible, they should pay before the due date to avoid high finance charges.
I have nothing against credit card as long as you can pay it in full.
And be prudent and spend wisely.
Thank you for watching MoneyWise. This has been your Wealth and Life Coach, Mr. Chinkee Tan.
And this has been your mompreneur, Christine Bersola-Babao.
Remember, it's not enough for us just to be street smart.
Because it pays to be
Money
MoneyWise.